Hello and welcome to the Lit Fam podcast, trying to stay sanitized since 2016. I am Preston. Oh, yes, always. I am Preston, and today we have Dylan, the Nuggle.
Yo.
And Andrew, the impersonator. I don't think your gaming name has been said on here yet.
Hello. I don't think it, because I've done all the intros. I don't think we've introduced me. I've just said I'm joined by.
Yes.
Oh yeah, this is Andrew. I don't think you even know who he is. I mean, like, let's be honest. I don't think you're.
I think most of our fan base watches the show just for me, so I'm pretty sure they know who I am.
Yes, that's true.
Fair point.
Yes, fair point.
You're not supposed to agree with me.
No.
Whenever someone talks themselves up that much, you're supposed to beat them back down. You don't
Well,
say
I
like,
mean-
yeah, you're
Sorry,
right.
my bad. No.
Try again. There you go.
No. Just no.
I don't want to beat you back down when it's most likely true.
Look. Just
I mean,
because I ask more people to watch the show that I make doesn't mean they watch it for me. It means they watch it in obligation to me. There's a difference.
True.
You can't just keep saying true to fill the silence, Preston.
I
You
know,
introduce our topic. This is the job of the intro.
No. I just intro. You introduce the topic. I feel like it's a little narcissistic if I introduce the topic.
Yeah, sure. But I actually had a thought about that real quick. Could you use the Lit Fam podcast to reject someone? Like, you don't want to be with me. Watch this and it'll prove it. That was a stupid joke.
Well, it's topical because last night I got hit on, so I think that's what you're leading into here.
I was leading into that, but at that point it was just
it's not on topic, but we can bring it up if we want to fuel my ego even more.
Anyway, so we're here to talk about Preston's trip to Florida. Because
Yes,
he flew down here this past month. It wasn't the last week. I almost said last week, but it wasn't.
I wish it was last week.
Pilgrimage.
I wish it was.
You wish it was last week? Yeah, that would have been a lot easier. It would have been a lot on our minds, too. I can't speak. I'm realizing this.
Yeah, it's okay. We're only doing a podcast. It's
Yeah.
the point of the show. is to talk.
Yeah.
Uh,
But no, I came down. I got to meet some of you again, Andrew. I got to meet some of you for the first
You
time.
met me the most.
I know. What was this the third or fourth time?
Third.
Okay.
how many?
You came to Florida once. I went to Ohio once, and then you came to Florida twice.
Wait, when did you go to Ohio?
When
He was
brother
visiting
had it.
his cousins, and I met up with him there.
I think I was there for a funeral actually.
Oh.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah.
Never mind then.
Yeah, that's a fun time. I
Yeah.
haven't been to many funerals, but I went to that one.
Neither have I. And I'm honestly kind of sad and happy about that because it means
I
like, not a
never
lot of
got
people
going
I've
to
known
funerals.
have died.
Because
Neither
it's like
have
they're
I.
not going to come to yours.
That's kind of insensitive.
What?
No, it's smart.
Like you don't go to theirs, they're not going to come to yours. You know?
I
don't know, it
hate
makes sense to me.
I know.
funerals. They're so somber and solemn.
Is anyone like, gee whiz, I hope we get to go to another funeral this weekend?
I
Like,
want
who
people to
loves
say.
funerals?
I want people to say that about mine. I want to have a party, dude. That's what I want. No, I literally want to. I'm not kidding. I actually want to hire security guards, and if you are dressed in any formal attire, you're not allowed in. Casual clothes only. Pajamas
Carry
included.
The casket out. Like he's dressed too nice.
Dude, I don't want the casket to be carried out, dude. I want some like remote controlled wheels tied on that sucker, and I just.
No, that's a great idea, but I just meant you would be dressed too nice, and so they'd have to kick you out of your own funeral. That was the joke I was going for.
No, pajamas. I'm being buried in my
You're
pajamas.
okay. I don't care what I'm buried in. I just want whenever they lower me into the ground for them to play the Tetris theme.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's poetry. I love that.
I was gonna make the part of the joke I made up, and I'm not gonna do it because that would just ruin it. I've learned that.
This isn't the first time I've told that joke, but it is also true. Like it's also not a joke. I actually want that to happen, but I don't want anyone to know about it. I want like everyone to be gathered around, all somber, and then the pianist just starts going. Dun, 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 dun,
Well, now the internet knows. One day, like 70 years, there'll be someone just walking around and hear the Tetris theme. They'll look up and they'll see a crane and a coffin just slowly. They'll be like, "Oh, it's Andrew."
A crane? They're gonna drop me down from a crane? Oh my god!
How deep is the
hole? No, it like starts up at like 70 feet, slowly dropping down, so the whole theme can be played.
They just look up and it glistens in the sunlight, and a single tear sheds from their face. It's so beautiful.
I mean, why would you not want to be dropped from a crane?
Dropped or lowered?
It would mean that we could play the whole song.
Yeah.
No, dropped. It's like New Year's Eve ball style.
It's like, I want to be...
There's a giant countdown, and when you hit the ground, they say Happy New Life.
It's like, I wanted to be buried at sea, and I wanted them to play What Should We Do with the Drunken Sailor as they throw me in.
Nice.
People that wanted to be buried at sea. Like,
Can you?
What about all the other letters of the
alphabet? Can you get a coffin made of piñata material and have a...
Kids just start whacking you with sticks.
What part will come out first? Who does? No one knows.
Mama, where's the candy? He's too stiff. He won't break. I will make him break.
I like how Preston is like, he's trying to stay sanitary since 2016. And Andrew's like, we put candy in the coffin with the dead person. Go kids and beat it and get your candy.
I want to think of like a decomposing candy pun now. But I don't know if there are any.
Does candy decompose?
I mean, it's sugar. So. It's just sugar. It doesn't.
Sugar
really...
can decompose.
I mean, it doesn't go bad though. I mean, you could have a cookie on the floor for 10 years and come back to it, and it'll still be good.
My grandma was sweet as a cookie, and she still fell apart like a rotting zombie.
Okay, Preston, we've been.
Both my grandmas are alive, by the way.
I didn't know that, so personally, I was just like,
you were just like, oh my
god. So we got way off. We've been talking like that for like 7 minutes. Anyways, so Preston, like we said, came down to Florida along with somebody else who couldn't be here today.
Yes,
you know who you are. What the heck?
We're not supposed to say her name. Oops. You know who you are.
No, we can. Why can't we say her name? Our friend Ariel?
Dylan. I already said Kyla, so she was anonymous.
So what the heck?
We'll force her to watch this.
Kyla and Preston came down to Florida, and it was a trip and a half. It was a good time.
Yeah, I had a great time. I want to come back.
Well,
how was planning a trip during COVID, Preston? I want to know that.
Well, we were supposed to do this early in the year, remember? Back in March?
Back before the global pandemic started. But then the global pandemic started.
And then prices dropped, and we were going to do it even sooner. And then flights got canceled, and we said, never mind. Oh, no, restaurants closed.
Yeah, that's true.
Because what's the point of going...
Because I was originally going to come down in March. And that was literally when everybody was still in a panic. Everybody had no clue what to do. Congress is running around with their heads cut off like chickens. And
that's normal. That's the
okay. True. But
political commentary.
Nobody knew
that coming into Lit Fam Podcast.
Nobody knew anything, and when they closed all restaurants and everything, I was like, well, what are we gonna do if I come down? Like, I feel like sitting in somebody's house probably wouldn't be. I'm sure it'd be fun. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure we would make it fun, but I feel like we had a better time with me coming down in August.
Yeah, when there's actual activities to do, it helps.
Yes. Yeah, it seemed like we sat in like Jack's house a lot anyways.
I'm going to say something that I'm mad about Jack's house right now. I was promised card games 3 times, and it didn't happen 3 times.
I was upset too, but I live here and I could probably go to his house anytime and play card games.
Yeah, no.
You live in Ohio.
Because I have heard stories about the nights that you all play card games, and it sounds like a blast. And I was promised it 3 times, and it didn't happen.
You should have rioted, man. Like,
well,
don't be set down.
I'm nicer. I'm nicer in person than online, so I didn't want to riot.
A lot of people were actually, I'm not going to say like they were coming to me because like, I'm not like the moderator of life, but a bunch of people I had heard said like they were surprised at like your personality in person, just because you were very more reserved, I think, than you are online. Very more. I know it's good English. You were a lot more reserved than you were online, and just still really polite. You know, I mean, you said the same about Brian. Like he's way different in person.
Oh yeah, Brian is like a crackhead when you play games with him, but man, in person, I didn't know he was there. He was extremely quiet. Everything I knew about. I mean, I met him once before, but he wasn't quiet then. But then again, we only met for like 3 hours. But
depends on what we're doing. When there's an activity, Brian's more into it. But if we're just sitting around chilling,
gotcha.
He listens to music in paces generally.
But planning the trip was interesting, because there's a lot of rules the airport makes you do now, like wearing a mask and stuff.
I mean, it's not like the whole world is making you wear a mask, Preston.
I don't.
And then we go to pick you up, and we're like, "Which gate are you at?" And you tell us, and then we go there, and you're not there. And you're like, "Oh, you want me to come outside?" No, Preston, we're gonna pull the car up into the airport.
I was standing at the gate, and I told you which one. I didn't see a single car outside of that gate, and I'm just like, well, I mean,
well, you're not supposed to stop unless you see your person. They yell at you, like physically yell at you.
I didn't know that.
But especially at that airport, because it's like it's got a lot of people, but not a lot of room. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So they're very strict about don't just park here, get going or get in. You know.
Yeah.
Very different.
Mm-hmm.
Probably your small Ohio airport. What you have like 2 planes there?
Oh yeah, we're lucky that we have a plane and a half actually. Like, I was very
that one up.
Yeah, well, it still flies, but not well.
I was very lucky to get the half.
Yes.
As many people are on.
I do not like flying, so I've flown before. This wasn't my first flight, but I do not like flying. I don't know if I told you this, but did I tell you I almost passed out on the flight?
No.
Coming too far.
I think you told me that.
Okay.
I
thought you told me I wasn't listening because I'm a bad friend.
I'm not gonna argue with that, but sorry. No. So the plane takes off, and the takeoff and the landing are the absolute worst parts of a flight for me.
Mm-hmm.
In the air, I'm like mildly freaked out, but I'm like calm. But I'm so happy the seat in front of me was empty. It was completely empty. I'm not kidding. I was gripping onto the seat in front of me for dear life. And
sometimes I don't even pause my show when we land. Like, I just don't care.
Oh, no. I was gripping on, and I by the way, I got no sleep. I slept for 2 hours. I had to be at the airport at what is it? 6 a.m. I had to be at the airport at 6 or 6:30 a.m. and I was awake at midnight because I slept from 10 to midnight, and I couldn't sleep. I was up for 24 hours that first day, actually 25.
Oh, you were exhausted.
Yes, by the time I
Everyone could kind of tell you were exhausted.
Yes, I was fine through the afternoon. Like the flight, I was fully awake. There's no way I was sleeping on a plane. Not a chance in the world.
Yeah.
And
actually, that first night I had work.
Yes.
Which sucked.
Yes, but
it was like the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think you and Kyla both took naps, or maybe just Kyla did, and you should have.
Oh, I did not take a nap. I should have, but
you definitely should.
And then you guys went to dinner without me, and I haven't heard I've heard very little about that. So if you guys could talk about that for the next hour, and I could just sit quietly and enjoy the podcast.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well,
yeah, we'll get there. Well, but I want to tell you about this guy on the plane who he gave me hope and realized that I didn't look like as much of an idiot as I thought I did, because it was his first flight.
Uh-huh.
It was this, and he was very loud and very talkative. This Hispanic young man, like he was probably just a couple years older than me. He was probably like upper 20s. Oh man, he was hilarious because we're taking off and he's like, like just kind of like screaming, and then he's just like grabbing his stomach as we're landing. And he was just, it gave me calmness to see, like, I'm just sitting here grabbing the seat, and my knuckles are so white they're glowing because I'm already very pale, and he's
I was
just
gonna say, isn't that just normal for you?
yes, no, like they were starting to produce light, and he was just screaming, and I'm like, I'm not screaming. I don't look like him. I am good.
At least I'm not screaming. There's always a bigger fish kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. But meeting you was fun. Getting picked up at the airport.
I got paid, which was nice.
I think I remember part of that story where you said like they started like decompressing the air or something, and mist was coming out.
Yes. So
and he was like screaming, "Is it supposed to do that?"
Yes, I actually knew that was normal for planes to have like mist when they're decompressing, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, is that normal?" And the guy next to him, because they were doing 2 people per row. I had my row all to myself, but he sat with somebody. He was behind me, and the guy was like, he was laughing. He's like, "Yeah, that's completely normal." And I was laughing too. I'm like, amateur. As I'm sitting there, terrified as well.
You're freaking out.
Yeah. It was fun though. Not fun. I mean, it was fine. I lived. I would definitely do it again to see all you guys.
We did something good. He's coming back. We didn't scare him away.
Yeah, that's early because he never wanted to see me again after the last couple times.
So that was improved.
Yeah, I'm getting better.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, he's little Andrew's growing up on me. It makes me sad.
He did grow up so fast.
Dylan, you're a child.
You're 5 years younger than me, Dylan.
Like you can't say they grow up so fast when you're the youngest person in the call.
Well, I mean, I am in they. I am a part of they. It's like I'm the same age Preston was when he met me for the first time.
Yes, that is.
How do you feel about that, Preston?
That was like kind of
It's kind of surreal that I've known him for 5 years, and I was
because
17 or 18 when I met him. I forget how old I was.
Well, if I'm the same age, then you would have been 18.
Yeah, but I knew some of you guys when I was 17.
All I know is that apparently, according to the first episode, you said you wanted nothing to do with me.
Well, then now you're like,
and now I'm your employee.
Yeah.
Yes, I paid you.
Leeches off you for favors.
Finally. Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't call them favors.
I don't leech off him. I pay him. I'm not disclosing the amount
I
pay
don't
him.
know what you pay him with, because I know it's not money.
I'm not going there.
It actually is money. I literally paid him the second I saw him when I got out of the car at Jack's house, and
nobody knew what it was for.
Yes, with cash.
And that's like the sketchiest thing. You just get out of the car and hand him a wad of cash.
That's exactly what I did. And Josh was there, and I met Josh for the first time. That was interesting. Yeah. But Josh was like, "Wait, why are you giving him money? Why are you giving him money?" He's like, "I want money," and I'm like, "I'm giving him money." And he's like, "But why?" I'm like, "I'm paying him." He's like, "For what?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it, Josh."
Joshy boy.
What would have been funny is if you came out of the car and paid me, just went right back in the car and said, "Okay, Jack, take me back to the airport."
I flew 2.5 hours.
He got back in the car, stole Jack's car, and then took himself back to the airport.
Just leave Jack a picture and a text. Your car's here. There's only 3 dents. Don't worry.
Only 3.
Minimal damage.
Sorry, I ran into half a plane on the way over.
I stole that half a plane and flew back. But there were a lot of firsts on that night.
Oh yeah.
You met most everyone there for the first time, right?
I did. Yes, I met Jack, his family. Not gonna lie, completely forgot he had 2 other siblings outside of the one that usually plays games with us. His younger brother. I remembered him. I did.
After you saw him.
Yeah, after I saw him, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I forgot you existed," and I literally completely forgot he had another younger sister. I was just like, "Who are you?" I had no clue.
It's like, you exist, okay.
But they were nice. Seeing Brian. Like
Jack's family's amazing.
Yes, they were very, very nice people.
One of the nicest people I've ever met.
They were extremely nice. I met Sergio for the first time. That was fun. He is
I'm sorry.
What?
Move on.
He's nice. I don't know he's taller than I thought he was.
The first thing I have to say about him is he's nice. The second thing I have to say about him is he's tall.
He's taller than I thought.
I mean, well, we're like the same height. How tall did you think he was?
Short. Very short.
Very short.
Extremely short.
Okay. Anyways,
met
continue.
Dylan for the first time. That was nice. Dylan was quiet as usual. Dylan's always quiet.
I'm getting better at that though. I mean, I'm not as confident as Andrew.
I mean,
here,
it's
but...
awkward. It's awkward. It's like, we've been talking like not face to face. We've been social distancing for 5 years, Dylan. And
the masses of social distancing, 200 miles.
Oh, it's longer than that.
I know, right?
What, Andrew?
We're professionals at it.
Oh, yeah. And so like, I met you. You were pretty quiet. Brian, not kidding, ripped me out of Jack's car.
Like, yeah, he also jumped on the hood.
Yes, he jumped over the hood of Jack's car as we pulled up from the airport because we dropped you off. Wait, were you there at Jack's house when we?
Me?
No, Andrew. When we first.
I don't think so. Maybe.
Okay, I don't remember if you were at Jack's house. I can't either. When we first got back from the airport and Brian was there, but Brian literally he slid across Jack's hood, opened my door. I don't think you were. This was after we had dropped you off at work or your house or whatever.
My house, yeah.
And he literally grabbed my arm, kind of hurt a little bit because I wasn't expecting it.
He does that.
And he pulled me out of the car, and I'm twice his size. So, and he just he hugged me real quick, which was pretty awkward. Not gonna lie, Brian. Don't ever do that again if I meet you. If I see you again, Brian, please.
It's going to be tradition. He's going to pull you out of the car and hug you every time.
I wasn't expecting it. It was very awkward. But
short and sweet, though.
Yeah. And he was nice. He was really hyper. And that was all the energy I saw from him for the whole week. I the 2 or 3 times I saw him. Everybody else, he was just very quiet, which was quite shocking. And yeah, and then we went to dinner that night. That was fun. I mean,
we went to dinner after we waited 2 hours for Kyla to wake up.
For what?
For Kyla to wake up.
Oh yeah. Kyla
can be exhausting, especially depending on the times of your flights.
Kyla took a nap because she took 2 flights through 2 or 3 time zones to get here.
Yeah.
And
really take a toll.
Yeah, she was on a plane a lot longer than I was. I was still good at that point. I was still awake. I hadn't slept. I was up a long time. I haven't pulled 24 hours in a couple years. But after she took a nap, and everybody was yelling at me to take a nap, and I said nah. We went out to dinner. We went to a place called can I say the restaurant? Do you care? Or
yeah, no.
Okay. It was called Miller's Ale House. Now, I don't drink. I'm just gonna say I don't drink, and we'll
I need 3 of us do.
No, but
unless Dylan's sneaking some on the side.
I only drink energy drinks.
I don't hydrate ever, not even water.
So
I filter feed.
I don't drink alcohol, and I'm gonna leave that there for now. We're gonna come back to that in a minute. Mm-hmm. So we went to Miller L's house. It was okay, food wise. I'm gonna judge your food here, your restaurants, real quick. It was okay.
Miller's is a chain. It's not local.
Yeah. Well, I don't.
It's just.
I've never heard of it. We don't have.
It's kind of like bar food. It's just greasy chicken burgers, stuff like that.
Yeah, we have a couple restaurants like that up here. I love those restaurants. They're a little more expensive than Miller's Ale House was, but the one thing I was disappointed about at the restaurant was that I asked everybody at the table. There was 11 of us, which we had to go to Miller's. There was no other option, by the way.
Yeah, because no one else would seat above 6, I think, right?
Yeah. Above 5. We went to Chili's.
5, jeez.
And I was excited for Chili's because I like Chili's a lot. And Chili's was like, no, we're only going to seat 5 of you at a table.
It kills the whole vibe of a big group.
Yeah. And then we asked, well, can we have the tables back to back? And they said, no, you're going to have 2 tables in between you.
Yeah.
And then, so we left. But, yeah, so I asked everybody there. I'm like, hey, how are their cheeseburgers here? Because I like cheeseburgers a lot. And they're like, oh, they're really, really good. Order a cheeseburger. Incredibly disappointed. It was a perfectly circular frozen patty that was very much heated up.
Yeah, I would have never ordered a burger from there. You should have asked me.
You weren't there. That's why
You texted me.
Oh my gosh! Yes, you're at work. Hey, Andrew, how's the food here, man?
Did Jack tell you to get a burger there? I trust Jack's opinion more than that. I don't think Jack would tell you to get a burger there.
I think I was sitting near Kyla and Jack's sisters.
Oh, Jack! I was when you said they told me burgers are really good. My first thought was Jack's sisters would have said that without ever having tried.
And I think burgers. I was sitting near Dylan or Sergio.
Caleb. It was Caleb.
Oh yes, Caleb.
You sat next to Caleb.
And I think Jack might have weighed in and said they were fine.
Jack's sisters are just overly optimistic, so
that's not a bad thing.
They're good, which is a great way to live life for you. But like, if I'm not overly optimistic, I'm not gonna like this optimistic burger, you know?
Yeah. But it was fun. We had a good.
I don't. Had a good one.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I don't necessarily trust Caleb's opinion on burgers either. He seems to know sushi better, but even then, he likes sushi that I wouldn't like.
Really?
Caleb likes more interesting foods. Things that normal people haven't heard of.
He likes more
kind of stuff Caleb's into.
He likes more sushi than you?
Oh yeah, Caleb's a sushi fanatic. He loves sushi.
I mean, I like sushi a lot, but Caleb's tried a lot of things that I wouldn't be hesitant to. We'll just put it that way.
Caleb is the reason I've tried sushi, because going back to working at the deli, the story from a while ago, he went next door because his shift was over before me and his sisters, and he got sushi and brought it home. Well, I was being picked up at their house. All of his family forced me to try the sushi. And I sat there like,
what kind of sushi did you try?
I think it was a California roll, but it was a fake crab.
Did you hate it or like it?
It was good, but it was a fake crab. It was a crab.
Usually.
Yeah, so that didn't taste good. But other than that,
imitation crab. Yeah, California rolls usually are imitation crab unless they're like really high quality. I know that's off topic, but
dinner.
That's interesting.
You hated your burger, Preston?
I didn't hate it.
Dylan hated his sushi.
I didn't hate it, but it wasn't what I was expecting from a bar type place like that. It was what do I call those? Like Tex-Mex? No, it wasn't Tex-Mex, was it?
No, that wasn't Tex-Mex.
It was unexpected. But
like a wing place.
Yeah, a wing place. But back to Caleb real quick.
What you should have got.
I wouldn't expect that from him because you're the only person I ever hear talk about sushi. Andrew.
Well, clearly you don't talk to Caleb a lot.
You don't talk to Caleb that much.
That's true either. That's true too. But yeah.
I think the first night. Oh, go ahead.
No, go, Dylan. Go. I talk too much.
I was going. You're the person who visited. I'm always going way off topics. You're actually going through your burger.
Okay. Yeah. No, the first night was really fun, and then we went back to Jack's, and that's when. Well, at the restaurant is when the sleepies started hitting me, and I was like nodding off.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I was nodding off at the restaurant, and it got really bad at Jack's house. I was awake, and we're all just kind of.
I do like the terms the sleepies. I'm gonna use that if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, go for it.
Makes it sound like a monster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's like a Sesame Street thing. Like I remember like watching Preston like slowly get tired as the night progressed and be like, Preston, go to bed.
Yeah,
need to go to bed.
Literally everybody was like, dude, just go like take a nap. Like go lay on Jack's bed and take a nap real quick. So like when we like get Andrew later, you're awake or we can like do stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm awake. Because I was trying to reset my sleep schedule too, because I had been going to bed at like, let's see, quarantine started in March. I've been going to bed at 5 a.m. every night since March.
That's not good for you, my guy.
Oh yeah,
no, it's not. But I mean, good on you for perseverance.
Yeah.
No, bad. You can't say good on you when someone's continually stabbing their heart. Like, wow, you are committed to this whole suicide thing. No, not good.
Yeah. But Jack, he cracked open an energy drink he had never tried before and gave me like a quarter of it.
Surge,
I was
called, right?
I was no, it was like C14. It was actually like named after a bomb.
It was called C4.
Oh,
and
C4,
it had warnings on it. This is for pre-workout use only. Warning, do not drink this unless you are about to work out. Please drink this energy drink right before you work out. There was lots of warnings on this thing. Like most energy drinks have a ton of warnings. I don't really drink energy drinks too much. I've had 3 bangs my whole life. 3 bangs.
Bangs don't really have any warnings because
they do.
Sugar.
They do.
Warnings on it?
Yeah, they have. If you're pregnant, don't drink this. If you take medication, don't drink this.
Duh.
That's not warnings. That's just be smart.
Yeah. But this thing was actually made for like pre-workout people, I guess. I was falling asleep. I wasn't about to work out. So Jack gave me about a quarter of this, poured it in a cup, and it was so funny. He drinks the rest of the can. And
he also gave me some.
Did he too? Okay. Yeah, you weren't affected by this. But
I was so disappointed by that.
Me, about like a minute and a half, maybe even less. after I had my little portion and Jack finished the can, me and Jax, like I was awake. I was literally wide awake for like the next 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It worked. But there was a point during that 10 or 15 minutes, me and Jack looked at each other and locked eyes. And I think he just said, "You too?" And our left hands were tingling. They were literally tingling. And Jack was like, he wasn't like freaking out, but we were both weirded out. And he grabbed the can and was like, "What's happening?" There's literally a warning on the can that said feelings of tinglingness and like numbness are normal when drinking this. And oh my gosh, it was very weird because most when I drink Bang energy drinks or when I have, out of the 3 I've had, 2 have had no effect on me. Other than like I feel that my stomach feels a little weird with all the caffeine because I don't drink a ton of caffeine usually.
Yeah.
And one, I drank one on an empty stomach and I was jittery. But other than that, like I don't feel anything when I have energy drinks.
Yeah,
but,
no, I mean it just keeps you from being as sleepy.
Yes.
Generally, like there's no like physical effects. Generally, it's not normal.
Yeah. But no, this sucker woke me up and it tingled. It really legitimately tingled.
Can we put that on a T-shirt? This sucker woke me up and it tingled.
We always have talked about
and the back
like
says legitimately tingled.
Preston, you know how we were talking about if we ever had like the clout to make shirts and we'd have a quote on it.
Yeah,
that's your shirt right there.
It legitimately tingled.
It legitimately tingled.
But yeah, so that was pretty much the end of night 1, right?
And then you came back to my house because you stayed with my family.
Yes, I stayed with you
the whole trip.
Your supposed family.
That? I've got some stories to tell, but I want to hear your perspective first.
On what? On your family?
Staying there.
I didn't meet your family. I thought you lived alone. When we dropped my stuff off at your house after the airport, I saw your brother, and I said hi, and he said hey, and that's almost the entirety of your family I saw. Like, I saw your family in like snippets. They were never home. They were literally avoiding me, Andrew. They literally went to Disney to avoid me. Do you not remember that?
I remember they went to Disney. I don't think it was to avoid you.
I feel like it was to avoid me.
I mean, I guess we'll never know.
What?
We can have him on next
but I do know because I asked him what he went to Disney for.
Yeah.
Interview him next podcast.
Yes, we'll get your brother in here.
So my thing with that is, I think it was the first or second night. No, it was the first night. You were like, just whenever you get up in the morning, kick me.
Oh.
And I laughed. And then in the morning, I was like, gonna let you sleep in. But then I got a text that said, really wake me up. Don't let me sleep in. And I was like, okay, well, I'll shower and then I'll get Preston up. And I was like, Preston, not a single budge. And I just lightly poked you with my toe. And you were like, huh? Oh, okay. And you woke up. Like, I was like, wasn't kidding.
Yeah, I don't remember you saying my name. I remember, like, I felt like you was it my back or something? And,
well, I wasn't gonna, like, shove my foot in your face.
That's appreciated. Thank you.
That would have woken you up from the smell.
But, like, no, I just felt like a little tap, and I'm like, I'm up! But no, I was dead serious when I said that. Like, I'm a heavy sleeper at night because you were worried about that. I remember. You were worried about that the first night.
Yeah, because I've heard I snore.
You do.
You do.
You do.
I talk in my sleep.
I haven't heard that one yet.
I would have stayed up if I would have known that.
I want to know what you're dreaming about. What are you talking about?
There was competitive memorization thing and a Bible quizzing where I would memorize Bible scriptures, and one night before a tournament I was sitting up in bed quoting my material. So like my whole family was in the room. My mom goes, "Andrew, are you awake?" And then I just fell back down and
that's kind of creepy.
Oh boy.
It is really creepy.
Like, if anybody, if you weren't doing the Bible quizzing thing, if anybody didn't know you were doing that and you woke up in the middle of the night reciting a Bible scripture and then just passed out when somebody talked to you, oh dude, that is freaky to think about outside of like your family.
Yeah, no, it is. I wish I could replicate it.
But
yeah, no, I was worried about waking you up.
Remember, I had stayed up the 25 hours and told you I'm resetting my schedule. Wake me up when you're awake. Yeah.
I mean, it worked.
Yeah.
I only worked that first night, which was nice.
What do you mean the first night? What'd you do?
The first night I worked. The first night. It's the only night I worked.
So yeah.
And all the other evenings with you.
Yeah. That was annoying. I know you were annoyed, right? Because that was their first.
Oh yeah, I wasn't happy. My hands were kind of tied though.
Yeah. Because that was the first Monday you've ever worked, right? And I specifically came down at the beginning of the week because I knew.
Yes, because I was only working weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was a mess and a half. But the rest of the week was really enjoyable. We did plenty of other things. We did an escape room.
Yes.
The three of us and a work friend.
That was really fun.
Your first escape room ever for both of you, right?
Yes.
You guys think of that?
I remember getting to your house was a hassle. Like that could have been an escape room in itself.
Yeah. I forgot. Yeah, we had a bunch of scheduling issues with you and because you don't have a car.
Yeah.
And your dad was like, I don't want to take you places.
Yeah, that was the most annoying thing.
Like, come and get you. Ended up making us late to Universal later.
Actually, I don't hang out with y'all all that often anyways, but hopefully I can do that more often as I get older and stuff like that and get my own car.
Yeah, as you get money.
But it got to a point where, like I said, I walked into I look a lot different. I used to do a homeschool group thing with Jack's family, and I walked into their house, and Jack's mom came out and greeted us all, looked me dead in the eye, and goes, "Who are you?" And I just kind of sat there like.
She did. I was
I was like,
Was she joking?
I don't think so.
It's like Jack's mom's kind of joke.
Well, I mean, Jack said she was joking, but she said the same thing when she came to visit our church Christmas service. She was like, I don't know who that person talking to my daughter is. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm like, yeah, no, it was me. I know my hair is long.
Dashingly handsome young man speaking to my daughter.
I hope they didn't go that far.
But yeah, no, I mean, you've changed your look a lot over the years. Preston, did you recognize him?
Yes, because I've seen him in video calls.
This voice is unmistakable.
Iconic, in fact.
I mean, it kind of is.
But you guys did really well for the escape room. It wasn't hard, but it wasn't easy either. It was one of the harder ones that specific place had to offer, and we solved it pretty fast. I don't remember how much time we had left.
We had 16 minutes left.
We had 12.
12?
Yeah, it was
12 minutes left. Yeah, which is a good amount of time for only an hour room.
It was an hour and a half.
Really good. Was it an hour and a half?
Yes, it was an hour and a half.
Even still, anything over 10 minutes left is pretty good.
Oh, I didn't know that.
20 minutes left is really, really good. I've only done 20 minutes left on 2 rooms, I think. I've done 9.
It was fun though. How'd you like it, Dylan? You go first.
I mean, I thought it was really fun. I play Professor Layton games. It's my all-time favorite game, and the whole thing about that is just solving puzzles. I have solved literally thousands of puzzles because of it. So as soon as you were like, we're doing an escape room, I was like, yes, I want to go. I want to go. I want to go. And it did not disappoint me.
Well, I'm glad.
Yeah, and that place has really well-designed rooms too.
Yes, thank you. Because I like after having that experience and having a well-designed room, after looking up rooms near me, I'm disappointed now. So thank you for giving me standards.
Doesn't meet Florida's quality.
No. I had fun though. That I'm not kidding. I know we went to Universal on Wednesday, but the escape room was probably the funnest thing for me through the whole trip because
I could agree that
it was it was something I had never done before. I've been to Universal once or twice in my life.
Yeah.
And
I thought it was your first time.
No. It was Kyla's first time.
It was his first time in Diagon Alley.
Okay.
Yes. No, I had been to Universal once or twice in my life before, and I'm always not the biggest fan of roller coasters, but I had a ton of fun there. Don't let me fool you. I had a ton of fun at Universal, but I would say the escape room was probably the funnest for me for the whole trip because it was a completely, utterly new experience.
And a smaller group.
It was that
it was
really
the same
fun.
size group. What are you talking about?
Well, like, and compared to like some of the other things we were doing, not like Universal. I know Universal was still 4, but like mini golf was like 9 people.
Oh, I forgot we
Yeah.
mini golfed. Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun still. But
Oh, yeah, it
anytime
was.
you get into a smaller group, that's when you have some of the best moments.
The one thing I do think was amazing about the escape room was that we walk in and they laid out the rules for us, and they specifically said, "Don't touch anything on the walls. They're strictly decorative."
Yes.
And I turn around, we open up this huge door,
And Andrew's the first in. That's
Andrew's the first one in.
Yeah.
His friend goes in. I don't know if we're not going to say his name, I'm assuming. But the other guy goes in, and I'm trying to solve this jigsaw puzzle, which turns out we didn't actually need because I actually solved the puzzle without it. But I'm like, okay, whatever. I give up. I walk in the room, and he's holding Poseidon's trident. I'm thinking, where did you get that?
Yeah, no, I had the same reaction. I walk in the escape room, and you're literally holding a weapon, and I'm like, bruh, we were told not to hold the weapons.
Yeah. I have a tendency to do that in every escape room we go into. We just did a circus one the other day where like the ringmaster was some crazy lunatic that was trying to kidnap us and turn us into freaks. And as soon as we walk in, there's a coat hanger, and I look at the host, the game master, and I go, "Can I wear that?" And I point to the ringmaster's coat, and she's like, "Of course you can." I was like, "Because I'm going to wear it throughout the entire escape room."
Wait, was it an actual person?
They were just letting us into the room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so when you went to that place, they dressed up.
No, just me.
Just me.
Okay.
Really had one costume.
On a coat hanger. There's also a cane. I felt so powerful.
Oh my gosh.
You become the Monopoly man doing the escape room.
I was so dapper, you know.
But
I find the tools and I adorn myself whenever I'm in an escape room.
Become the room.
Become the room. It's like Pirates of the Caribbean, part of the ship, part of the crew, part of the game, part of
I loved it though. It was so much fun. I can't wait to do more. I
make a tradition that every time we come down, we do another one.
Yes, I'm down. I'm in. I'll see you in a year.
Yeah.
But no, I had a ton of fun. I loved solving the puzzles. It was really fun. My favorite moment. I had 2 favorite moments. When I realized that the map on the wall and with the string or the wires or whatever formed arrows. Because one, I didn't know that the map moved until I accidentally leaned against the wall and bumped into it. And I'm like, oh, there's a lock on this map. It moves.
You want to know the funny thing? I saw the way it moved from the opposite direction and tried to push it. I'm like, oh, it jiggles. Maybe it opens up later. And then you were like, oh, it moves. So
I didn't hear you say that. Or you said you realized it. So I can't remember.
I didn't say anything about it. I'm just like, oh, maybe there's like a key to this later. And then you're like, oh, it moves. It opens. I was like, oh, okay.
But I love that moment because that was like one of the puzzles I figured out. And then the other moment, the skull. You and your work friend are sitting there. We had to. I'll explain the puzzle real quick. Are you laughing at it already?
So we needed a 5-digit combination.
Yes, we needed a 5-digit combination for a lock. And the way to get the answer was you had the coins in a skull's eyes. You needed to rotate the coins to make numbers. And they had gotten some of the numbers already.
Should we say spoiler alert for the escape room?
No, it's fine.
Oh yeah, that's right. They don't know.
No one knows what escape room it is, and we're not giving any answers. So
yeah. So they had to rotate the coins to get numbers, and they got some of the numbers right. You guys were struggling. All of us were struggling with that. Like Dylan got bored and went to go with a jigsaw puzzle again.
Not designed well.
No, it wasn't. It was terribly designed. I will agree with that.
Horribly designed.
It was horribly designed. But my favorite moment was
one bad thing in the room.
You asked for like a hint, or the lady came over the intercom and it's like, you guys have been doing that for a long time. Do you like want a hint? Because I remember your friend. He said it's better to finish the room with hints, because I was against hints when we first started. Do you remember that?
No.
Oh, I told him I didn't want to use hints.
Well, the other thing is, the more escape rooms I do, the more I realize that some of them just aren't designed.
Yeah. Well,
really. Like there's always 1 or 2 puzzles in every room that's just like, you have to think like the person that made this puzzle to solve this, and not everyone thinks that way.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you actually have to have hints.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which
It's
sucks,
not like a
but-
video game.
So she realized like you guys were having a hard time, and like she chimed in, and it was hilarious because she didn't help you solve it. You still had to figure it out. You get down to one number left on the combination, and you two knuckleheads are still screwing with the skull, and I just walk up to the lock. And I'm just going through all 9 digits in the last number. And you're like, what's the number? What's the number? And I pull the lock off and I'm like, it was 7. And we just opened the door. I don't know. I love that. Just because.
I was like, why did you think of that
You
before?
just try all of them.
And, do you remember the Hades shade thing? Or the head shade thing?
Oh, the
Head shade?
Oh, okay. So we solved that. Remember that one, the crossword puzzle that was okay.
Tetris.
The
Yeah.
Tetris. It was okay puzzle except for the last clue. That was terrible.
Yeah, because it ended with like 2x or x2. It
Yes.
wasn't even in the right order, and we were supposed to realize that was supposed to be times 2, and that
Yeah.
wasn't clear.
That-
which again is something you need a hint for.
Yeah, it was not clear at all. But once we got that hint, we had to find 2 words that you could spell Hades with. I don't know if this is giving away clues, but I don't care.
Yeah.
So I immediately
you're
say shades or shade. I'm sorry. I immediately say shade. And that was one of the combinations. We need one more. We literally stood there for like 5+ minutes easily. And the word was head. Heads. I mean, and we didn't get heads. That was.
It's more 3 or 4 minutes, but it did take us too long.
Oh, it took us way too long. Bunch of adults standing around. We can't reorganize 5 letters into a word.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
not the way my brain
not
thinks.
my proudest moment.
Yeah.
Here I am.
But the
saying,
room
I've
overall
solved
was really well
5,000
designed and a
puzzles.
lot of fun.
Yes, no, it was incredibly fun. And I really appreciated the worker coming in after we'd finish. They congratulate you, which sure is their highlight of their day. Congratulating people that finish a room. But I really appreciated them showing us.
I'll talk about in a minute.
Oh, okay.
The things we missed.
No, yes, exactly, Dylan. I really appreciated them showing us the things we missed, or the things like we were too smart to look over, or the things we were too dumb and looked over. Where we were dumb. I really appreciated that. Yes. Oh, there were both. I'll let you explain that.
Yeah, I really liked that there was a Roman numeral puzzle that we solved by just being smart enough to know Roman numerals, and we didn't have to find the answer key for the Roman numeral translations.
Yes.
That was funny. They just walk over. Well, you missed this. It's like, oh.
She opened the desk, and we're like, the desk opens? What?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of impressive that we solved it without finding everything.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not impressive, but I mean, I like to pretend it is.
You still have to be smart for it to happen, obviously, and I feel like there's one thing in every room, 1 or 2 things in every room that can happen that way if you are smart. But I mean, it's impressive to some degree. But we went to Universal the next day.
After going to Ale House the second time the night before.
Oh, yes.
We went to Ale House twice.
Miller's. Oh!
That would see that.
Oh, I wanted to come back. Okay, hold on. Before we get to Universal, can I tell one more story real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, before we went to the escape room, we went out for breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
We went to a place. Do you care if I say the name of this restaurant? I don't know if you're like.
Kiki's.
Yes, Kiki's Breakfast Grill, or Breakfast and Brunch Cafe. That's what it was called. And so we went to Miller's Ale House the night before, and Kiki's in the morning. And I have extremely nosy parents. Like, my mom will literally check. I say parents, it's mostly my mother, but
Yeah.
my mom will literally like snoop around our bank accounts and like stuff like that. And I was incredibly worried because, again, I don't drink alcohol, and I don't want people to think I drink alcohol. I don't think it's like incredibly bad or anything, but I just don't do it. And we went to Miller's Ale House the night before and Kiki's in the morning. And I'm like, that kind of sounds like a strip club. And I'm like, I really don't want my mom looking at my bank account thinking I went out drinking the night before and went to a strip club in the morning.
In the morning. Who goes to a strip club in the morning?
I don't know.
The worst time to do it.
Maybe I do it because nobody expects it.
But like, I was incredibly worried about that because that is somewhere my mom's brain would go. I have a story. It is not for this podcast, but I have a story of where like my mom's brain goes. Someday on one of these podcasts, ask me how my parents found out I did YouTube. It's great. Promise you. But that is where my mom would go. She'd be like, "Oh my gosh, she was drinking with his friends that we don't know all of them. We only know like 2. She only knows you and your family, Andrew, and she only knows like the name of Jack and the name of Brian, but she doesn't know anything about them."
Yeah.
So
but she still thinks you're 7. So
basically, yeah. So
but don't all of our parents?
we're gonna do a podcast one day about our parents, Dylan.
Oh, okay.
All of ours, but anyway, so I'm incredibly worried about that. And I opened my bank account after Kiki's, and I'm like, please don't just say Kiki's. Please don't just say Kiki's. And it said Kiki's Breakfast Cafe. I was very happy. I was so relieved because I'm like, I did not want to text or a call from my mother during this trip. What's Kiki's?
No, I get that. I hope she turned into a gremlin just like that too.
Yeah, all the time. Absolutely. 100%. Straight out of like World of Warcraft, gremlin. Just
there's no gremlins in World of Warcraft, but close enough.
I don't play it, so I'm sorry. I tried.
But I like how you said like, oh, at the end of the escape room they come in and congratulate you, highlighted their day. It reminded me at Universal when after every ride they have to clap for you when you come back.
Oh,
I hate that. I hate that.
And it was even worse because of COVID. The parks are like half empty and everyone's separated. So there's even less energy because there's even less customers, and then like the claps are just so sad.
Yes.
It's so pitiful.
It was.
It's funny though. Like.
Yeah, it was. But I had a great time at Universal because of COVID.
Because the lines were so small.
That was amazing.
What do you mean? What lines? We barely waited.
Exactly.
We didn't wait. It was.
Yeah, no, it was nice.
It was a dream come true at a theme park. Like,
the newest ride that's usually like at least 2 hours was 15 minutes. So.
Yeah, I remember that because it was amazing. Like, I love this. In the next pandemic in 60 years, I'm going back. That's the next time I'll go to Universal. That's when I want to. That's when I want to go. It's like, sir, we're closed for health and safety. I don't care.
It's like, honestly, getting dinner there was a lot worse than rides. That was a terrible experience.
Trying to find food was difficult because restaurants weren't open really.
And then it started to pour.
Yeah, but it's Florida.
Yeah, but we were lucky that it only rained while we were eating.
Yeah.
That was pretty convenient.
I had a great time though. The only bad thing about Universal was they make you hand sanitize your hands before every ride.
Every single ride.
Every ride.
And some of them give you way too much, and you just got goop.
After the third ride, I don't know what ride that was, but after the third ride, it got disgusting. And I mean, like, I props to Universal. I've never seen a theme park cleaner, and I'm sure Universal has never been cleaner with them wiping down everything after people use it and hand sanitizing. I props to Universal for like staying open and stuff. Yeah, I had a blast coming down. I'm glad I did.
Honestly, I think Universal's doing a better job with sanitization than Disney, and Disney usually does most things better than Universal, in my opinion. So I was impressed.
Yeah, but after that third ride, the Purell, it was one of the most disgusting things ever because it was just pure slime and your hands were peeling. It was funny
because on the first ride they squirted in my hand and I was like, is that enough? I guess so. And then like the second and third ride I was like, please no more. No more.
But it was funny to me because it's like we went into the park the day after we went putt-putting, but in the putt-putting area there was like nothing. They're like so secured outside of it, but like on the in City Walk they're just like, you're fine. I'm sure you're fine.
Well, the thing is with the putt-putting, they sanitize all the balls and clubs.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So that's the only thing you're passing between people.
Yeah. Putt-putting was
fun.
The rides,
you're touching everything.
It was hot. Oh, by the way, because it was hot, because it's Florida and it's summer. Yeah. Putt-putting was fun. That was the hottest night. It was definitely more hot and humid the night we went putt-putting than Universal by far. because putt-putting I wanted to just strip naked and finish the course that way.
No one would have stopped you.
I'm sure somebody. Oh, Preston, you do that, then just scream, "I have COVID," and no one will stop you. No one can touch you.
Oh my gosh, but it was the weather was far more better. It was still hot and humid, and I wanted to scream after like 3 hours at Universal because I wear jeans because we don't need shorts in Ohio because 1, I don't go outside. I play video games for fun, and 2, it's Ohio. The hottest weather we have is July, and our weather is on par with your weather in July. It might be a little less humid some days, a little more. It just depends. 'Cause it's Ohio. We get different weather every single second. But I don't go outside.
Florida's bipolar when it comes to weather.
Yeah. I bought shorts, by the way. I bought 2 pairs of shorts when I came back.
I was gonna say you're gonna need them for next time.
Yes, I already have shorts. They're incredibly comfortable. I love them. But yes, I am prepared for next time because, man, after 2 or 3 hours, I was getting tired, and my legs felt like I was walking through a swimming pool through the rest of the park because it was just so humid.
I remember us all standing there and being like, "We didn't think to get sunscreen."
I didn't want it. I tanned.
What's wrong with
I didn't get burnt at all, and I
got burnt.
I'm very pale. I glow. Like, I don't.
I don't wear sunscreen unless I go to the beach.
People are like, one of these days, Preston's gonna have to show his face to see how pale he is. No, the answer is no. But I am very
snowman.
I am like translucent white, and I did not wear sunscreen on purpose, and I did not burn because I tan. I think it's just my body is like.
I was honestly surprised you didn't get sunburnt, and I did.
I wasn't. My siblings and the rest of my family.
It's weird that you'd have such fair skin and not ever get burnt.
Yeah. The rest of my family, they go outside for like an hour and they're crispy, but no.
Crispy.
Well, my dad also tans. What? Why do you always have issue with the way
people crispy, man?
You
don't call people crispy. It's just one of the rules.
You have ways with you always have a problem with the way my word choice. Always.
I mean, I wouldn't use the word crispy either.
Anyway, my dad tans, but the rest of my family does not. They all burn and they're not as pale as me, but they're pale. But no, my dad tans as well. So like I guess I got it from him. But no, Universal was fun. There's only one thing that disappointed me about Universal.
What's that?
The Gringotts Bank ride. I had never been to Diagon Alley. It was super cool, super fun. Loved walking around it. Butterbeer is amazing. I regret not getting more. But the Gringotts Bank ride. So, I am of the sturdy, husky variety of person. 6'1", broad shoulder. But like I wasn't worried about like not fitting in rides. I fit in all the rides we went to. And but that I figured before we went. I'm like, the Harry Potter rides are newer, and newer stuff tends to be skinnier. Okay, this is just how technology works. Okay, phones, computers, everything in life, like that's how it works. New stuff gets smaller. So the Gringotts Bank ride, I had a fear I wouldn't fit, and like I fit fine in the seat. The bar that came down had leg slots. Why did it have leg slots? That's my only complaint. I'm like, my legs, like I had them like squeezed together, and I'm like, yeah, my legs don't really fit in this, and the bar doesn't. It clicked once, and I'm like, I don't want to ride this when it clicked once, because everybody else is like click 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 click. Me, it was like click, and I'm like, no, and it was uncomfortable. Like, I could sit in the seat if they would have let me not have my legs in the leg slots for the bar that came down. I would have been fine, but no, they were like, put your legs in between the bar. I'm like, oh. I wanted to ride that ride.
But I don't wanna.
Exactly. Other than that one ride, that I wanted to ride that I didn't get, I had a blast at Universal though. I know I was walking a little slow by the end of the day because it was getting hot and my jeans were basically just water heavy.
Yeah.
But
I brought a hoodie and everyone thought I was ridiculous.
Yeah, you were. You didn't wear it.
It rained. I wore it.
He wore it for 10 seconds and he had to carry it around all day. It was not worth it.
Exactly.
I'll call my dude.
My when I was coming down, my parents were like, "You should take a jacket. It might be cold on the plane or rain down there." And I said, "No, I do not take jackets to Florida."
I do bring
July.
a jacket for planes, but other than that, no. I will wear jackets on planes because planes are usually freezing.
I've never been on a plane, so
it was cold on the way down. The flight back was much more enjoyable.
It was better.
Yes, it was better.
Yeah. So when you come back, what do you want to do again? What do you want to not do again? You know, when are you coming back? Because I remember halfway through the trip, you were like, "I wish I was here for longer."
I do. Yes, I do wish I was there for longer than like 3 days or whatever. But again, my reasoning for that is, I had never met all you guys. It was like, I didn't know how your family would be. I still don't know how your family is. I didn't meet any of them.
That'd be a good thing.
But it was good because, again, like I came down, I wanted to hang out and get away with my friends. I didn't want to vacation. I didn't want a full-on vacation for a week because I didn't know like how things would be with COVID and everything. Like I didn't know because the news reports at the time back in there in July when I came down, some stuff was like ramping up, like case numbers and everything, and I didn't know if everything was going to get closed down again. Like I had a little bit of fear before I came down, and
I think we all did.
And if it got closed down again, I didn't want to be like stuck down there for a week and be bothersome to somebody's family or like be annoying or whatever, because I didn't want to annoy or get in anybody's way.
You could have recorded Traveler's Tales in person.
That would not.
Should have done it.
Yes, Dylan, we could have done Traveler's Tales in person with my server files back at home.
You gotta call your dad and have him put it in the server for you.
Hey, can you go on my computer and don't touch the homework folder?
Just don't touch anything. I wouldn't want my parents sneaking around my computer regardless. They might delete very important files,
Oh yeah, your
homework, your algebra,
your files, exactly. Yeah. It was fun. My parents actually, I don't know, like you said you had like you said you had stories, but my parents actually took issue with something when I came back.
What's that?
So, my parents, I know your mom, I hear her in the background all the time, and she said it once while I was down there. I know his parents, my parents, your mom, and my parents say that too. And I'm like, no, you don't. In my head to both of our parents. I'm like, no, you don't.
Do the same thing.
Yeah, I'm like, no, you don't. You don't know them.
You spoke.
You haven't spoken to them in over 10 years. You don't know them. But like they know of you, and like they know of your mom's cooking. All right?
Yeah.
They took issue with the fact that your mother never offered me food or to cook me food or didn't cook anything. I mean, I wasn't.
Told her not to before you came.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She was like, "What should we do?" And I was like, "We're not going to be at the house."
Yeah, no. That's what I said. Like, I said we weren't really there, and I'm like, but they were mad at that.
She started to talk to me to ask about meals to put together and things. And I told her, like, breakfast, dinners, like full on days of meals. And I was like, "We're never going to be at the house."
So I'll tell them to redirect their anger towards you then. No, because like they were worried about, because they don't know Jack's family at all. They barely know Jack. Yeah. They just know Jack's name, and they were like worried because I said, "Oh, like Jack's like the hangout house. Like we were there most of the time," and they were worried like, "Oh, are Jack's parents nice? Like good parents should be worried.
Yeah.
Like are they nice?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm like, "They're some of the nicest people they ever met." I'm like, Jack's mom kept offering to make me spaghetti and meatballs, and I had to keep telling her no. Like she was an incredibly nice person. And my mom was like, "She offered to make you like food?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "What about Andrew's mom? We know she's a great cook." And I'm like, "No, she didn't offer me food at all." And then my parents were like, "Next time," they like literally got really serious too. Like, "Next time you're staying with Jack." I'm like, "Oh, okay." It was
sure.
Like my mom is generally known as a really good cook. And
Yes.
she is. But no, I just told her we weren't going to be home, so I told her specifically don't plan on meals around us.
Okay. Yeah, no,
because and here's the other thing, because my mom would have been upset if she spent 2 hours making a dinner and then we didn't eat it.
Gotcha.
That's pretty reasonable.
And that's fair. And we really weren't. Like, I saw
when Jack's family throws together a meal, they do it in a much shorter amount of time, and it's just kind of there for everyone to eat out of.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll make a pot of spaghetti, and then the whole family will eat spaghetti at different times. That's not how my family does meals.
That's how my family does meals. My dad just cooks. Don't ever have my mom's cooking, but my dad cooks. Like he'll just do like big stuff. My mom knows she's not a great cook.
I think.
And on that note, I think we're gonna call it quits before we dig ourselves into any deeper holes.
They don't.
I mean, I'm
listen
right
to
now.
this. They don't listen to this, but no. It was fun though. But you were right. We really weren't there at all. Like I saw your dad for like a split second. And should you tell people what I did
too.
after?
That was the only time I saw Halloween. No, I don't remember.
You scared me.
Oh, that's right.
I was so
we'll end
sorry.
With that story. That's a great story.
Yeah.
I think with my girlfriend or something while you were getting ready for bed, and then I came in to ask if you were done in the bathroom. You were turned around, and I just walked in and I was like, "Hey, Preston," and you turned around and screamed so loud it literally echoed through my house.
Wait, what?
While like still kind of screaming, you covered your mouth with your hand because like that was the fastest way to stop it. Like you couldn't stop yourself from screaming.
Yep.
I'm just like, you all right there?
I didn't hear you coming.
Preston's his own alarm system. If anyone ever breaks into his house,
China will
call
know.
the cops just with his voice.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That probably is a good funny story to end.
Love to have you back.
Oh yeah, no, I can't wait to come back.
We'd love to have you back to wake us all again.
Next time, Legoland.
And we'll do another podcast episode on it. Yes, we need to do Legoland. And we'll talk about it on another podcast.
In a year.
Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye.